What's going on, YouTubers? Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be reviewing the F4 Final Fantasy VII Cloud, Aerith, and Tifa Diorama. So this is 1/4 scale. It is more true 1/4, not the overscaled 1/4 like Prime 1. So this will pair better with that type of 1/4 versus this type. When you look at it next to like Kratos, it looks underscaled, but Kratos is, overscaled. So I did Google their heights. Cloud's only 5'7", so he's a short dude. Aerith is 5'3", Tifa's like 5'6", I believe. So Aerith is a little over 16 inches tall. So she is accurate to her height, because a 5'3" female, in 1/4 scale is technically like 15.5 inches. So she's actually slightly taller than that. We could just call it to her boots. But that is accurate 1/4 scale. These characters are all technically smaller characters. Cloud's not even 6 feet tall. It's like a teenager. But here it is, the diorama. It does have a very big base, as you can see. It's bigger than Kratos' base. Not as thick. It has maybe like a 1-inch layer, but then there's a lot going on top. Where these bases are like 3 inches, 4 inches. So that alone also actually makes it fit better in scale with like these statues. So first let's check out the COA. So it does come double-sided here with like the game. See the 3 characters, looks good. And then here's like the actual statue. So I'll be displaying the game, not the statue. I prefer to have an art, not another picture of the statue. So here in the base, it is clearly some sort of road. There is some good texture, cracks, almost like rusted look. And then you have a lot of just like destroyed building parts, factory parts. They're in Sector 7, as you can see. This sign does look great. Yeah, a lot of different just like machine parts. Very reminiscent of the actual game. Now you do have these 3 Shinra Electric Power Company cubes, and one of them does have this like bar that's sticking out, and you can actually display this where you want. You can have it top, here, it doesn't matter, it's up to you. I've seen different photos of it at the top or the side. I personally prefer it right here. I've tried it top, and I just think it looks more natural, closer to that, and like that. So yeah, these are really cool. They're like the size of a mother box, but they look like real wood. Paint job looks great. Very well done. Then you have like a metal sheet right here sticking in the ground. And then more like rubble, and very reminiscent of the game, that's for sure. They did a great job capturing Sector 7 and Final Fantasy VII. If you've played the game, you know this is the general look of the game when you're in those areas. So I think they captured it great. The base has sort of like a black line right here, give it a little bit of color. It looks good. It doesn't, it doesn't stand out too much or anything. It's fine. But overall, the base has a lot going on, but it's not like too busy, because there's definitely some areas that, don't have stuff going on. But overall, I think the base looks great. It is very big, but then again, you are getting 3 1/4 scale characters. So if it was just Cloud, then the base would be stupid big. But considering you have Aerith and Tifa, I think the base is just right for a 3-character diorama. So it is justified how big it is. Now, this is not a super tall statue. Aerith is tallest, and like I said, she's only about 16 inches, plus you add the base. It's about a 17-inch tall statue. So not super, super big. Let me measure the depth and the width real quick. So the base measures a little over 20 inches wide and 20 inches deep. So I thought it was 2 feet by 2 feet. I'm glad it's actually a tiny bit smaller. 20 inches makes it more manageable. I might even be able to fit it in that shelf. That shelf is technically 18 inches, but I could scoot it forward slightly and fit it. Because ideally I would like to pair this with my older 1/4 scales like that. Even next to like Solid Snake would look good. I currently don't have plans to get a Sephiroth, by the way. I know a lot of people are obsessed with him. I'm not. I fell in love with these 3 characters in the game. Not Sephiroth. I mean, he's cool, but I'm not looking to buy a statue of him. This is all I need. So yeah, manageable base. It is big for sure, and it does have some presence. This doesn't have height presence, but it does have width and depth presence, and the fact you're getting a lot of stuff going on in this statue. But overall, I do like the overall base and the size of it. Then let's come to the characters. So concept-wise, I love what they did with the poses. Cloud's pose is very sick looking. The way he's holding the sword, that massive sword. Tifa looks great, ready for action, and Aerith looks great as well. I think the pose choice was perfect for all 3. I wouldn't change the poses at all. So very well done on the poses. The costumes overall on all 3 do look fantastic. Let's get some close-ups. So now all their feet are magnetized. They have one big peg and then a very strong magnet holding them in as well. So very secure in regards to them being here. So here is Cloud. It does have a very fine texture work that looks reminiscent of real clothing. So very well done. Obviously Cloud, is going to be hard to see his inner chest part because of the sword blocking him. He does have some armor on him. But yeah, like the inner chest part's very hard to see, obviously, because of that massive sword. But the grooves and texture work does look excellent on him. He does have a tiny bit of vein work on his arms. Each arm has, like 1 or 2 veins. The gloves look great. The sword looks very well done. A little bit easier to see on this side. It does have like a green and a red jewel. And those were, I haven't played the game in quite some time, but I believe they were like power-ups. But the sword does look really well done. Nice silver metallic look. Then you have the portrait. Let me just take it off so we can get the best angle. So there is the portrait. It's a yellow with a shading of brown. The eyes look well painted. It looks good. It looks just like Cloud. I got no big complaints there. Then you got Aerith. I'm not going to take her head off just because of her back bang, but they did some massive improvements on Aerith. Her original portrait, I was not a big fan of, but I think they made some pretty good improvements. I think the eyes were some of the biggest misses originally. I didn't like the eyes on her. She looked kind of dead, and I can say definitely the production piece does look a lot better in person. They fixed it, and it looks great. Her costume looks great. She's wearing a dress, does have some textured work. Really nice design. It looks very well painted. Looks just like her in the game. She has her jacket, which also has a fine texture work. She's wearing some jewelry, and that looks good. Then she's holding this staff, which has like a little jewel. The staff looks great. So there it is. It's, pretty decently sized as well. And then again, she's wearing more jewelry. Here's her hair. If you saw the unboxing, you saw that I did have a tiny damage right there, but I did glue it and you can't even tell it's damaged, so not a big deal at all. But Aerith overall looks much better than the original prototype did, so they definitely did some improvements on her, and I'm happy with how she looks. I think she looks great now. Here is back of Cloud. Then we come to everyone's favorite, Tifa Lockhart. So check her out. So I do like her pose. Here's her boots. They look fantastic. And then sort of like her stockings. And they do have a very fine texture to them. If I can focus here. But yeah, it looks great. Then she has all of her buckles, her dress, which looks like a leather. Texture. Looks like leather texture. Her belly button, her big boobies, which is her signature. And it looks great. They did a great job on the flow of these sort of like belt buckles. They look good. And you have the 2 that come up. around the boobs. Her arms look great. These like power bracelets that she used. She always fought with her fists. I like her hair quite a bit. It's flowing around, almost touching her waist, but the hair looks really well done. Her face, they did fix the eyes because originally they were brown in the most recent production photo, and I told them, hey, you need to update this to red. I'm like, I don't want this if it's not red. And they did fix it, fortunately. So her eyes are red. She has red lip gloss, and her face looks great. She does have a very fine texture as well here on her wrists and the gauntlets. So they look very well done. So yeah, Tifa looks great. They all look fantastic. I don't have any issues with any of them. I think their poses are all extremely well done, though. So texture work looks really good. The base is fantastic. I don't really have any complaints because it all looks really well done. The skin paint app looks accurate to the game. Like that is a game photo. And it looks very, very accurate. I think they did a great job on the texture work, the paint job, the scene choice. It's a very well done statue, no doubt. So now I haven't tried to put this down low because I just put it here for now, but I'm going to test this down low. I've also thought maybe of putting it next to Daenerys. I do have to figure out space. It's definitely going to have to go probably in a bigger shelf, but we'll see. But I'm going to test this out. I think what I actually probably could do, because Prime 1 is making a Last of Us and an Uncharted, eventually I'll sell most likely my Clicker and Nathan Drake. They haven't announced Tomb Raider yet, so I can't count on that. And I want to keep the Solid Snake. So I'm thinking I could do the F4 diorama, like right where those two characters are in essence, which will eventually be moved right here. In between Laura and Solid Snake. The scale will be good, and having that in the middle will look probably best, and just have 3 video games together, and then do Uncharted and Last of Us separate in a large cube. But yeah, overall, this is a fantastic piece, especially for the price. This originally went up for pre-order at like $499 as like a pre-order bonus, and then they increased the price to $550. So that's the price it is right now, $550 plus shipping. The box was smaller than I expected, but it is quite heavy. The piece overall does have a good weight to it, probably weighs 25 plus pounds. I haven't weighed it, but I would say 25 pounds at least. It has very good weight to it. Almost as heavy as a Prime 1, 1/4, not quite as heavy. But very good weight to it, so very good price though, considering what you get. 3 full 1/4 scale characters, giant base, awesome concept. I'd put this as a 10 out of 10 concept for me personally. I think they freaking nailed the concept, and overall paint and detail is very, very good, no doubt. So yeah, solid statue. I do highly recommend it. If you're a big Final Fantasy VII fan, like me, I loved that game. It was my favorite game of 2020. I would definitely highly recommend getting this, especially for the price, because for the most part, all the Final Fantasy VII statues are just like Tifa or just Aerith or just Cloud. And, I don't want to have 3 separate statues and have to spend probably $600 on each of them when you could just get all 3 in an awesome concept, giant base for $550 plus shipping. I feel like this is the best FF7 statue out there for me, personally. I've seen a lot of them, and none of them have interested me until this one, because I didn't want to buy just a Cloud or just a Tifa. I wanted all 3, and this fit the bill. So for me, this is the best FF7 statue out there. And you could definitely pair this with the Sephiroth out there. I don't know if F4 is making a Sephiroth to match this. I haven't seen any plans yet, but we will see what the future entails. But like I said, I'm very happy just having this to represent Final Fantasy VII. I actually don't even own the game. I actually rented it from Gamefly originally, but I'll probably buy it now that I have the statue. And I honestly want to replay the game before Part 2 comes out. Just because you know, it'll be so long, I'll have forgotten too much, and I want to refresh it. I want to replay the game because it's so amazing. So I will buy the game, replay it before the next part 2 comes out. Until then, I'm definitely going to enjoy this awesome statue by F4 because I think they did a killer job. Let me go ahead and put it down just right there and see how it looks next to these guys now. Alrighty, so here it is, bottom shelf. So it actually does look pretty decent down low. You can still see, you know, the characters pretty decently. Tifa's probably the hardest to see, especially at my angle, because she needs to be viewed more from, you know, this side. But here it is, you know, and this is in a 24-inch deep garage shelf. There's still a few inches to spare, and I have it mostly pushed to the back. It will be a little bit more difficult to display in that type of shelf. I'll definitely have to, you know, probably have it extended, you know, like if I change this to that bigger shelf, I would probably have to have the base extend a little bit into this shelf to get it to fit on this side underneath. Because ultimately I like this entire wall to be nothing but Prime 1 for the most part. And then my other non-Prime ones right here. And eventually that DBZ will be switched with, you know, Game of Thrones. But yeah, here it is. So if any of you guys are interested in purchasing this, I will leave a link in the description below. It still is available to go ahead and order. It is in stock and shipping now, no wait time, you know, like for pre-order and whatnot. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Hope you all enjoy this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day.